I cannot believe how hard Zeztz episode 13 went. Is it good for a hero to have so much power at this point in the show? Isn't it too early? This guy created a black hole and defeated a monster the size of a planet, basically, or a moon. It was supposed to be a meteor, but it looked like a moon. It's crazy. Anyway, this was a really good episode. I really love the dramatic tone in this episode. That was really nice. Things have been dramatic before, but this felt different and special, and even more dramatic than we've seen things be recently, and it just definitely kicked it up to another level. There's a threat to all life on the planet with this meteor, because I think that if the meteor creators were, they were real, they were like small meteors, they were like precursors, they were just little things that were being spit off from the big meteor. Had that meteor actually crashed in the earth, it would have been an extinction level event, which is what I was trying to say earlier, and everybody would be dead. So Zeztz has already saved the entire world by episode 13, which is pretty cool because there's no like singular group that we know of trying to take over the entire world. So that's pretty impressive to see. Anyway, the great thing is too that everybody acts like it's an extinction level event. Baku is furious that Odaka, I think that's Knox's real name, right? Like messed him up and got into his head, and he is blaming him for making him weak and making him unable to stop whatever, the nightmare, or like find the mind's door and do what he needs to do to prevent this from coming to fruition. And Fujimi is furious at Baku for rejecting culpability and blaming Odaka, and he's saying, you don't know him. And they're both kind of saying that to each other, and it's really intense and really cool. And Nasuka is coming down pretty harsh on Fujimi to stop him and saying, he's just a civilian, he shouldn't be doing this to him, let him be. And then there's an interesting turn where she totally seems to believe in Odaka, but I'll get more on that later. And she like gets on the same page as Fujimi. It's really impressive. Really good character work is being done there, and it all fits the tone. It's very dramatic. It's very grounded. These people are actually acting the way I would think they would in these circumstances with these powers and such. So that's pretty cool. Very intense. Let's see the next thing this suit, this Wonder suit, it feels too techy. I don't like the little tech nodes on it or whatever. I love the color of the shade of purple that they're using is great, and I like the overall idea of it. Even though the weird fists on Wonder are too big and too odd for me to really dig a lot, it's pretty cool, and I think it's nice. It's a nice attempt, and seeing it in action isn't as bad, although it's super clunky, like how he supposedly got out his scythe and everything. It doesn't work, and it's pretty silly. So it kind of takes away from the coolness of it. Like the colors look really good, and in wide shots it looks decent, but it's just kind of odd. Those big ball hands are too freaking weird for me. Like it brings gravity down a ton for me. Like it'd be cooler if he had like chains or something. Wouldn't that be cooler? Gravity's like an invisible chain. Anyway. I love that Knox did this like Doctor Strange astral punch thing on Zeztz and knocked all his balls off. And it's funny, we have the toy. There's a trend, if you know Kamen Rider toys, the way they work, where they have all these little widgets or these little gadgets, and they have pieces of merchandise that hold them. So like Wizard had this like ring holder where it swooped like from the front of his belt to the back of his belt basically, and all the rings were inserted into it. Not all of them, because there were like 20 rings, but he'd have like 6 rings on him at a time. And I can't remember who else had what else, but different writers, their toys have these carriers in them that help hold the toy, the collectible merchandise. And that's obviously in this case these like weird tubes. So the things that when you go buy tennis balls, the things that they come in, they basically have those, but they're Zeztz themed or whatever. And I think they're kind of goofy, but whatever. And those things hold them, and we've seen him loading capsums into that on a couple of occasions, but then it seems like whenever he needs a capsum, he just pulls it out, and I guess it's like dream logic where they're kind of in a hammer space, they're teleported to him or whatever. There's somehow, though, we see in this by this, you can call it Chaos Emerald Punch, like from Sonic, was that Sonic 3? I think that was Sonic 3. Like something between that and the Doctor Strange, astral punch thing, where the capsums fly out of him when he gets hit, and then they're destroyed or whatever. That they're somehow contained within him, which makes sense because this is the dream world, and he carries them with him in his mind, you could say, and in his dream dream power. I don't know. Somehow they're contained within him. But that's a pretty cool move. And I think it's a pretty cool way to do it, and a way to just like hand wave away what would otherwise be a clunky explanation. And I really enjoyed seeing that. And it gave us this great visual, and it's cool because the visual tells the story, and the story can only be told, or the visual can only play off like that because the story allows for it, and it all works together very synergistically. The gravity control stuff is really sweet. I love gravity control characters. I made a character called Dark Star, which I didn't realize that was a existing superhero when I made that character up a long time ago. But she has gravity type powers, and she can not make black holes, but she can fly with her gravity powers like he does here. And she can also crush things with her gravity powers, which is pretty cool, which I don't know that he was actually crushing anything, but he could. I know he could. And that's really cool. So I really enjoyed that. And then that Meteor Nightmare, the visuals of it were insane. It reminds me very much of the moon in Majora's Mask in some ways. I love that it's got these giant stabby things on it, like kunai or whatever. And from the front, they just like blades that have like a kind of serration around them, or like these grooves on them. But when you turn them to the side, they're 5-pointed stars, which is a phenomenal little design detail, at least to me. I thought it was weird and creepy and really cool, and I very much enjoyed that design. So that was super cool. Great nightmare. Never thought I'd say that. And then let's see. So there's a lot going on with the story logic, with the characters. Like Zero is definitely hiding stuff. He's hiding more stuff. I believe he threatens Minami that if he lets her in on this big secret, because of what happens at the end of the episode, and she reveals it, he'll have to kill her, eliminate her, deal with her. Can't remember exactly how he frames it, but like super shady. And then he shows up and he confronts Knox and he calls him Agent Number 4, which was a cool revelation. Unfortunately, cool revelation. And Knox challenges him and says like, "Oh, you're still willing to throw away the lives of your agents," which is interesting because that implies that there's other agents and they've died before. So maybe Knox is dead. Maybe he's a dream ghost. Maybe when you die in the dream, you die in real life, but then you become like a dream walker, haunter person. And maybe that's what happened to Nem. Could it be? It's she? So that was super interesting. I love Minami supporting Baku without letting him know that she knows what he's doing, and then her finding out, or like seeing that something's wrong with him and then going to Zero was really satisfying. She didn't just wait and like sit by the wayside. So that was a lot of fun. And then Baku, like having this whole arc where he's kind of pathetic and he's given up, and then he has the Spider-Man 2 hang out with the kid session where he gets his morale boosted, was really a lot of fun. And this actor, I need to look up his name. Maybe I'll pause for a few seconds and look up his name and then insert it here. He's doing a phenomenal job, and I really like what he's doing. He's pouring so much into these performances. He's being so intense and being so serious and bringing such gravitas to it. And I really like it. He makes this impossible, crazy Henshin hero Tokusatsu stuff believable with his conviction. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like I seriously feel like he's like a Hiroshi Fujioka level of Kamen Rider actor. Let's see. And then also the whole thing with the detectives and Odaka with they have conflict, but ultimately Nasuka is coming around and she is believing in everything that's going on. And she wants to help find Odaka and try to free him and either clear his name or somehow free him from whatever's got him trapped so that he can stop being a bad guy and he can be the guy that Fujimi believes in. And she's doing it out of like a tenderness and a care for Fujimi, as well as probably just being a cop who wants to get justice done and help this victim of this crime, whatever this crime is and whoever is doing it. Probably Foundation X. But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty cool. So jumping back on theory stuff as I round out the episode and finish up, Knox is not an agent. Oh, well, I really thought he was going to be, or sorry, he is an agent, but he's agent number 4. He's not agent number X, number 10. That was a theory that somebody shared with me on a short, and I thought it was a great theory. I still think it's a great theory. It totally makes sense. But yeah, apparently he's number 4. I do have another theory, though, sparked by this, which is that I think Baku was saved from death multiple times by previous agents, maybe even Knox or agent number 4. They each died saving him from something for some greater purpose that Zero and Code knew of, maybe. And I wonder if maybe even that's what we're going to... The preview for next episode looks like it was diving into Baku's past, and I wonder if that could be it, and I wonder if that's how Knox died, and I'm wondering if maybe when you die in the story, or in the story, of course, when you die in the dream or in the nightmare, maybe you end up a ghost trapped in dreams, and that's what is going on with Knox. That would be fascinating. That'd be super fascinating. Like, your connection to your body is terminated, your body dies, and then maybe you live on as a ghost inside the dreams. I don't know, but I find that to be a fascinating concept. That's my theory, and I'm sticking with it until it's disproven. Episode 13 of Zeztz was excellent. Everything was delivered really well. The emotions were high. The tension was high. The crazy stuff was happening with all the powers and everything. And I'm really interested in the character story that's going on. But also, I'm worried that it's setting the bar too high for itself. Like, will episode 14 be as good? Can it be as good? Will the show feel like it needs to keep topping it and making him more and more and more powerful, Baku, that is, in order for the show to continue to be good? I hope not, because it's not the power that he expresses that makes the show good. It's the guts and the feeling and the emotion, the conviction behind the power that makes it matter, at least to me. And I'm worried that the show won't know where to go from here, and it'll get messed up. But I think Takahashi might be setting up this idea of dealing with power and what is the cost of power. Knox keeps talking about the cost of using the power of the capsums, and the horror of the capsums. And maybe that's what's being set up here. But where's that going to go? What does that mean? And how are they going to stick the landing? Because if they don't, it'll just kind of peter out and stink. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Go ahead and check out my playlist linked in the pinned in the first comment, where you can see all the rest of my Zeztz coverage. And you can also, of course, in the comments, answer my questions about what you think is going to happen in the show and what you thought about it in general, because I'd love to hear what you had to say. Let's have a conversation about it. Until next time, this is MJ with Henshin Inspection and Rider Tears signing out.